council chambers. We respectfully request that you fill the cards out completely and print as clearly as possible so that if necessary, the council, the city manager, and city staff will be able to contact you. As much as we appreciate your request to make comments before your 3 minutes begin, please understand your time begins when your name is announced. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. If you choose to ask a question during this time, any response by council will not extend your 3 minutes. When you approach the podium, you will see 3 lights. The green light comes on when your 3 minutes begins. The yellow light comes on when you have 30 seconds remaining, and the red light comes on when your time is up. We ask that you be considerate of the allotted time to allow other speakers to have their 3 minutes as well. Following this procedure will allow for a smooth and timely process for the meeting. State law prohibits the City Council from taking action on items not on the agenda, and your matter will be referred to the City Manager. Thank you.
Thank you. Darlene Peterson. Darlene, I'm sorry.
Earlier you observed that people go down the boulevard and just look at different things, and as you know, I do this quite often. And I noticed something the other day, and I'm going to call it Operation Clutter, because in my opinion, when commercial advertising signs are allowed to be set up on the city streets, in front of their businesses and the center of the boulevard, it amounts to clutter, and it is a distraction to what is otherwise a nice appearance of the boulevard. And one example is a sign in the center portion of the boulevard that I saw last week and again tonight. It's a rather new business has set up one of those A-frame signs advertising their business, and it's out in the center. Also, why are food establishments being allowed to extend their businesses way out on the city sidewalks when we really need this space for walking? It's getting, they're taking up the space we need to walk in. Their businesses should be, in my opinion, made to be inside in their businesses, not halfway out on the sidewalk that people have to walk around. And when you go down there, this new business I'm talking about, it's rather new. It's on the last block, just before you get to Sear Highway. It's on the south side of the street, and they've got an A-frame advertising their business out in the center, which to me is clutter. Other than that, you do good work now and then.
Thanks, Darlene. That may violate an ordinance. Would you have somebody look at that and see if there's a problem? Sure. Okay, thank you. Chris Cowan.
Mayor Parris, City Council.
Good evening.
My name is Chris Cowan, and I grew up in this town. I swam in swimming pools here. I played baseball in baseball fields. First graduating class from Highland High School. I left here and I went into the military, and I spent 1.5 years in the Middle East doing my service for this country. Came back and worked on black projects with Lockheed Martin. Left there and served as a primary 911 provider with AMR, driving ambulance. I'm a student of an education system, that's ranked 26th in the world today. I am no longer even classified on the unemployment percentage list because I've been unemployed for 4 years. My home that I own, I owe $296,000 on it, and it's worth $150,000. I am the 99%. I am here as a representative of Occupy AV in solidarity with Occupy Wall Street, and I wanted to let you guys know we are here and we are growing in numbers. We ask that you guys come down and visit us, talk with us, so that we can have a diplomatic, an open communication of what we need as a movement, with our First Amendment rights not being violated. We plan on occupying in this town, and we plan on staying the duration until change happens. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm glad that the city manager and staff showed us the photo on the Halloween fair we had downtown. I have a concern with it because I went down there and the streets and sidewalks were packed. You could not even move. And I was concerned that, you know, maybe the fire department said it's okay, but common sense dictated that maybe it wasn't okay. I mean, we have too many people in a small space down there. And I would like the city to consider maybe moving some of the events in front of City Hall and the Heroes Park area, leaving downtown open for parking and pedestrians in between the fairs. Because there were just too many people down here. I mean, you couldn't even move. And it got so bad, I just left. I was afraid if we had a fire or earthquake, you would have a lot of people hit you. So maybe we can try it once, moving one of the events in front of City Hall and by the park, see how that works out. Leave the boulevard open for pedestrians after they go to the fair, they can go on the boulevard, they can eat, and they can move freely. I hope you will consider it. Thank you.
Thank you. How many arrests did we have that night?
We had 0 arrests that evening.
Thank you. Maureen Feller?
And again, First Amendment, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or the right of the people peacefully to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. I had only planned on reading part of that, but since Rex decided to declare us a Christian city one more time tonight, please do not interrupt me. In fact, at one point you said you'd never talk to me again. I'm kind of looking forward to that day.
I'll certainly grant that request.
Right after introducing a tapestry to bring us all together, our mayor once again declared us a Christian city, which is definitely divisive. Also, the government for redress of grievances. Right now we have a young man who is in solitary confinement and will be in solitary confinement for almost 30 days. He does not have phone privileges. They want to medicate him. He was thrown in jail because of his speaking out at a criminal justice meeting. Fifth Amendment. Nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. I understand where Rex is coming from. I don't understand where the rest of you are coming from. We truly are losing our rights here. I think it was Sinclair Lewis, and excuse me if I don't say it properly, but tyranny will come to America with a flag wrapped around it holding a cross. And we appear to be there. We've now got people in prison. We want to become the capital of spy planes in America. What a wonderful thing to live up to. We get to sell other cities spy planes so they too can spy on their citizens. You guys are proud of this? Mr. Smith, you're supposed to be a representative of the Tea Party. Do you think the Tea Party wants to lose its Fourth Amendment right? I mean, we seem to have succeeded from the Union, and it's really heartbreaking because I too was raised here. This is my home, and we will fight for our constitutional rights and our Bill of Rights.
I'll skip the introduction because I've been up here before. In anticipation of Veterans Day later this week, I want to thank all those currently serving our country who have served. Those here in the room and at home, thank you. Several weeks ago, I came here and gave a brief presentation on economic development. Touched on a couple of topics: jobs, housing, And I made a statement that Lancaster has an underemployment rate close to 17%, meaning those that are currently looking for work, not looking for work, or are working part-time and like to work more than that. And I talked about the number of foreclosures in our community, and I want to clarify that statement. This is not an issue specific to Lancaster. Many, if not every community in the Antelope Valley, Santa Clarita, San Fernando Valley, Greater Los Angeles area, Riverside, San Bernardino are experiencing the same economic downturn caused by the housing market and a problem for people getting jobs. This is not something that is just happening here in Lancaster, so I wanted to clarify that. I began at that time talking about creating jobs in the housing industry, which next to aerospace or defense contracting is a big employer of our community. And I threw out an idea that the mayor, I think, agreed with because he made a statement that's something that we should look into. And it was a 2-year moratorium of suspending the business housing license, at which time Mr. Bozigian and him and I have been playing phone tag and having a conversation about how we could offset any revenues that the city was losing because of that. The idea being to create an environment with as little regulations as possible so that people bought houses. It's a great time to buy. Prices are low, interest rates are low, and so it's a great time. There's a lot of vacant homes in this community, and Mr. Bozigi and I are working on how to kind of deal with that problem where you have a vacant home in the neighborhood. Maybe there's some graffiti. Of course, we'll see them now, won't we? Writing the graffiti, and squatters and people dealing drugs, and nobody wants that where our kids and our families grow up and everything. So maybe a way to incentivize the banks to put these properties back on the market instead of leaving them vacant. Because of the accounting regulations in the banking industry now, they're not taking ownership of them as quickly. So we're seeing foreclosures up to 400 days where it used to take about 95. And getting new people in those homes that fix them up and buy in our communities. And so Mr. Baziki and I are going to continue to work on developing a strategy to fix the housing market right here in Lancaster. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that concludes the speaker cards.
Yes.
Any comments from the council before we recess to closed session?
Mr. Mayor, I just have one comment. There's been much said about the amendment in the Constitution tonight. I'd just like to take an opportunity as a veteran of the United States Air Force to say thank you for those veterans that have fought to keep those constitutional rights for our citizens. So just wanted to say happy Veterans Day for Friday.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to recess for closed session.